Donnie's got a correction to the attendees for the meeting, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
Which Donnie would,
I was here.
Jackie got the minutes. I said I talked to her tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And my name's spelled a little funky. I don't know if that matters. And then add Don. Okay. So that will be adjusted. And then following that are the minutes from January 12th, 2026, Town of Lenox Board meeting, which have been distributed. Any corrections to those minutes? Yes, pretty straightforward.
you're just gonna approve them as written, no corrections.
Mm-hmm. All right, hearing none, minutes will be submitted as presented. Good, Tom? Okay, heading into item number 5, reports received. I'll start with the supervisor's report. Just a nice little update. We were alerted that fire hydrant markers were needed for the town, and then also the village did say that they also might need them so that, and obviously we have high snowbanks, as you're well aware of, AJ. So making sure that we can see those fire hydrants is obviously very important. There was a quote that came through for about $20 per marker, but Doug at the village DPW found a way to make them almost identical. He's going to do a prototype and it'd be about $4 a marker. So we're going to try that out in the village. I talked, yeah, Roseanne and Jeremy and I talked with him, and so we're going to try that out first as a cost-effective way, and then the fire department would put reflective tape on the tops too. And I think they'll look nice and hold up pretty good because they're going to be made out of metal. So, yep. We did have a question about flood prevention and creek maintenance at the last meeting. I did call that resident just to kind of give them the update, because I didn't know if they'd be here tonight, and make sure that the answer we received they felt was sufficient, so that if they had more questions, I'd obviously get more information. But basically, just to rehash publicly where the responsibility resides and what's been done and what's going to be done, I'll just share the response from Jeremy Ryan, the village administrator. So within the village limits, the town is responsible for bridges. The village is responsible for culverts, and individual property owners are responsible for the banks of the Canastota Creek where it flows along their properties. This is why the town is undertaking the repairs to the Lewis Street Bridge, for example. The creek serves as the property line for many parcels in the village, and where applicable, the boundary runs down the center of the creek. And there's also a sewer line that is under a large section of the creek, so that is under DEC jurisdiction because it's a trout stream. So there's a lot of this is what makes it a little bit more complicated. However, last year, after the June 22nd flood damaged many homes, the village convened a committee to discuss ideas to mitigate future flooding. The committee included the village, the town, Madison County Highway Department, Madison County Soil and Water, New York State DEC, and New York State Thruway Authority. It was decided that trees and other debris should be cleared from the creeks on the north side of the village. Madison County Soil and Water then allocated $20,000 and hired a contractor to do the work. The village DPW and codes office assisted. Clearing took place over about a week in November until the weather turned and funds ran out, not necessarily in that order. So the tentative plan, once weather obviously clears up again, is to resume clearing the creeks in the spring when Soil and Water will have more money to allocate. Specific date has not been scheduled yet. So that is just a nice public, I think, update on that so that we're all on the same page. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. Next is the town clerk's monthly report for January. We had 48 dog licenses and a new sewer tie-in. 2 other items as well. They've been busy. I can attest to that. Jackie would too. Good. Next is the court report from Judge Palmer and Judge Carroll. I have added a couple more items to the reports received section, just in case there's updates. So Wes as liaison to zoning and planning, if there's any updates you want to include at a meeting, this is here, this is a holding place. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have something for us.
Oh, but, for those of you that don't have the opportunity to attend, there was a zoning board meeting at the end of last month, and it was in regards to a person wanted to change the, zoning in a particular location. Just so you all know, they take a serious look at this stuff because it's important. We want to see growth within the town, but we have to make sure that it's being done properly. In that particular instance, it would not have been the proper thing to do without a lot of changes, which would have required a lot more going back and forth, not only between zoning, but also to planning. Some of these issues are going to be straightened out when we do eventually come up with a comprehensive plan that will be brought forth to the public eventually here, hopefully in the near future. As far as the planning board, their meeting's going to be Wednesday evening. I believe there's only maybe one thing on the agenda, right? Two on the agenda for right now. So I'll just try to, a monthly, I'll give a little update of what I won't speak as to people or anything like that. I mean, it's public information, but there's no reason for me to, tell you what the decision on something is unless it's really crucial to the public. So anyway, I appreciate everybody that's on those boards for the time and effort that they put in, because it's an important part of the town. That's it.
Anything for Village of Canastota? Anything news and noteworthy? How cold it is, maybe? Oh, yeah, you were used to walking out in the weather. Jerry, anything for Village of Montville?
No, everything's quiet. Thanks.
Okay, well, that's a dangerous thing to say. All right, next is the Canastota Fire Department. So far, they've had 48 total calls this month. 20 were for the town of Lenox specifically, 15 were for Village, and 9 were for the Thruway. And
So, I know they got this listed as the, alarm equals fire, smoke, carbon monoxide. I was just curious as to how many actual alarm carbon monoxide issues we've had so far this winter. It could be obviously substantially more with the amount of heat that's required. And also the other thing you got to recognize is there's a lot of individuals that don't know enough to keep their exhaust vents clear. So, we have a meeting at our job, my workplace, and we make sure that we make it a point that if you have neighbors, elderly neighbors especially, or just neighbors in general, they might not know, keep an eye out for them this time of year and look at those exhaust vents. Going over there and kicking the snow away from a drift could, it could save somebody's life, right? I mean, as well with the fire department. So I'm just curious if they had an idea of how many may be related to the detection not going off or.
great point. Wampsville Fire Department had 22 total calls. 7 were for the town of Lenox, 2 were for the village, and 1 for the city of Oneida. And these are just some basic facts. It's not all inclusive of all the great things that both fire departments are doing. Just try to get some highlights to keep it exciting, All right, next is highway, but first I want to say congratulations to AJ who just welcomed, what day was it? The February 4th? Ooh, baby boy. Anything you want to say about that? Except we had to kick him out to go be with his wife. He's a hard worker.
I don't have the exact numbers of how many times we've been out because I've been off a couple days to help my wife with the little guy, but they've been out quite a bit. Last time I looked at the spreadsheet, it was over like 12 times since our last meeting.
Wow.
Other than that, the truck I'm still waiting on a couple quotes for the truck to present to you guys. Matt got back to me on their truck with one sander body. I'm waiting on another sander body company to give me their quote and truck. Other than that, I don't have much.
And thanks also because he helped get us connected with Doug initially for the fire hydrant markers and not the fire hydrant, the flood maintenance prevention. So kind of got that conversation going for us because we were both trying to find out who knew what. So we worked together on that, which was nice.
With the key with the truck this time is we're gonna wanna see it well before 4 years next time,
I'm hoping.
right? I mean, if it ends up, that's one thing we gotta look at as well. If it ends up costing us a little bit more money to have it sooner, and get rid of the stuff that's costing us money to repair and keep on the road, it makes sense.
Absolutely. And a little bit, talking to different salesmen, I have a general idea what way I want to go. And it's mainly because the salesmen show up and they've gone over every little bit with me. And I know through personal experience with Sullivan that if there's an issue, I get on the phone and they're gonna be getting.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, nothing for sewer this month unless you guys have something or. I don't believe so. So next is building and zoning. I did talk with Jason and he did leave us also, if you look at the last page, there's a letter that he wrote addressing us. And it kind of explains that those 25 inspections last month final inspection seemed kind of high for the winter. And that's because he's going back into the time period before he was hired for ones that were never closed out, and he's getting those finalized. So that's kind of why you're seeing that inflation there. I believe 20 of those were from before his hire and 5 were from actually December.
Tom and I were discussing that, and one of the questions that we have is permits are good for 1 year. So, he's been here for more than a year, so they either should have been closed out before while he was here or renewed.
Mhm.
So that's something that we have to look into. Why they're not being renewed.
Yeah, and he has 2 options here. One is both include sending the owner a letter in a final attempt to contact. If they don't respond, leave it open and don't allow them to take out another permit until they come in and finalize that first one. Or the second option is to force them to close it out before the judge, but then that could accrue legal fees. So he'd prefer option 1. I wanted to know our take on that.
Johnny. Liaison.
Yeah. I haven't had a conversation with my colleagues. And, I will definitely.
And one of the other things is in this new cloud report. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Right, and then, last page.
Yeah, there's no dates. It's not updated. And for the amount of calls or complaints or building permits, all that stuff is supposed to be in this system. That's why we spent the money we did on it. That way it's a living document.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to that these open permits, if he's entering the stuff accurately in cloud, it'll tell him, it flags him when it's due, and then and it automatically supposed to write the letter as well. It goes back to the $30,000 investment that, we all approved that he had to have to make his life easier. And anyway,
I don't know why it doesn't. Should.
right.
And I did reach out to the town attorney just for an update on all those zombie properties and the ones highlighted on this page. Any that said that were sent to the attorney for review, just to get an update on that. So to see where they're at.
And there was one as you mentioned, the way we had our town court, so to speak, where we met on 4 particular properties. And there was a question asked of our attorneys at that meeting, who gave them authority to pull the one individual off of some fees. Do you remember the conversation? And they were supposed to look into it and give me a response. I've yet to receive a response on
Yeah.
it.
It seems like they're in hiatus and I don't know why, so. We'll
And I
hopefully get
still
that.
wondering why that individual and who gave the town attorney authority when it clearly said that the town board did. And I remember that I gave nobody authority to do it. And I asked the question of the rest of the board members and they all as well said that they gave no authority to do it as well. So I'm gonna want to answer on that one too. You remember?
I know. Tom.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get a response
Yeah.
for the next meeting on that. I did ask a couple weeks ago, so. Okay. Next is the fire marshal report. On the year-end report, that's, I feel like, more telling than just January. There were 153 total inspection hours last year, 30 vacant building inspections, and 72 smoke detectors installed. And already this month, there's been 10 more smoke detectors installed. Nice, of course. Yeah, I had a good meeting with him too the other day. Yep. He's doing a nice job.
Should be knowing about it and they should be doing it.
Yeah,
Free service for you.
free service is right. How do they go about? They just reach out to his office, right? The fire marshal's office. If they want free.
Jackie, how do the people request the smoke detectors?
Just come into the office.
Yeah,
It's
so,
on the website.
yeah, it is on the website. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, free smoke detectors are available. So, and I think I, of course, want to push that if people don't have them, have functioning smoke detectors. Please reach out. Dave Sadler, welcome.
I'd like to, what I'm doing now, right now, I'm looking to see if there's enough information available to get a historical marker for Catlett Madison Harlow, the only known Confederate States of America veteran buried in Madison County.
Yes, I remember.
Hmm.
Did you talk about this previously?
Yeah.
Did you talk about this previously at another meeting? This is the one you've been working on, right?
I had a village meeting,
Yes, okay, that's awesome.
and plus I'm working on a couple of books, one for the town of Lenox and one for the town of Lincoln.
Exciting. I see your interesting Facebook posts too with some really cool facts about the village.
Yeah.
And we share those in my family thread, so they're pretty, say, take a look if you haven't.
That's all I got on that.
Okay, thank you. Sherry, anything in recreation? I have your.
Doug told me to say that you guys got my report.
I do have it. I could read it.
Two highlights though. Our youth basketball league is finished except for one team. They are in the playoffs that'll start on Saturday. They're the number 1 seed. Our boys A team just won the championship. And our girls B and boys B have concluded. So, pretty successful season. Would you say so, Tom? You're watching your granddaughter be a part of it. Do you think it's going good so far?
They're doing great.
Great. Really great coaches we have. So again, want to thank the volunteers for that. And our skills and drills basketball ended Saturday as well. We have about 40 kids. We encourage them to come to the boys basketball senior night on Tuesday and the girls senior night on Thursday to kind of support, encourage, their mentors that they had this year. We are a part of the public library's winter break program, and this year's theme, they're going to go with the Winter Olympics. So we actually had donated medals. So we let them have medals that had first, second, third, bronze, silver, and gold. And then Global is taking place next Saturday, the 21st. We have lots of time slots open for that, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 2 p.m. And we put in for a $900,000 grant to fix up the recreation fields as of today. So.
Yeah, and I did put a letter together to support that as well from the town, to help with that, hopefully.
Find out, but it's essentially a lot more ADA accessibility, extra parking lot in the back, so it's accessible from both sides. Renovating the restroom, what else? Dugout, maintenance, just things like that. Fencing, pickleball court with a tennis court, and basketball court. It's just a really big upgrade that we really need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay.
Thank you for working on that.
Sir. You made fun of me.
That was a beautiful summary. Good job. All right. All righty. Item 6 is upcoming meetings and announcements. Just a reminder, our next Town of Lenox board meeting will be March 9th, 2026, Monday, of course, as usual. Item 7, old business, just an update on the Water District number 14 grant. I did receive feedback. Christine's been working on it with me as well. Wealth of knowledge. Receiving feedback. We got it from RD Apply. We used RD Apply to apply for the USDA grant, which I talked about at the last meeting. And they did give us some feedback and some additional documentation to submit. Christine worked really hard along with our representative Becky Sims at RCAP to get all that information together and officially submit it as of January 23rd. So we'll see, hopefully we can get something so we can get moving on that. And just because I do know there's maybe a question at the last meeting about what is RCAP Solutions and do we pay them? So I did get an answer from them to just give me a summary of who they are and how they function. So RCAP Solutions is the Northeast affiliate of the Rural Community Assistant Partnership, which is a national network of regional nonprofit organizations that provide comprehensive on-site technical assistance and training to help small rural communities address their drinking water, wastewater, and other community development needs. We receive federal funding that allows us to provide they receive federal funding that allows them to provide technical assistance and training at no cost to small communities. So that's the answer we wanted. So there's no charge for their services. And they've been really great. New business. You might have to help me out with this one now. So there is an old grinder pump that's at the town of Sullivan that was sent there. Yeah, by I believe the previous supervisor. And AJ might know because he was there what the circumstances were. If not, no worries. But either way, there was the purchase of a new grinder pump for just over $3,600 in June of last year. Town of Sullivan is saying they can repair potentially for $523 in parts. Problem is, they won't know if those parts will fix it until they do it, and then the next set of parts could potentially be more costly, getting us closer to that purchase point of a new one. So kind of weighing the idea of, do we look at trying this out for a cost savings or hold off and just buy a new grinder pump? The problem is if you lose one, you'd have something in the interim too.
Right now, there's currently 2 pumps in that.
Okay.
There should be 2 pumps in each one of our pump stations. That was one of the things that we worked on a year ago, right? Make sure there was a pump and then a backup in it.
Yeah,
So
that's the backup. I thought we had even a third one. And we had one down the building.
I think that's just one that they're talking about, that they
And they want to know what to do with it.
They had to replace the one with the new one.
Right.
When they did that, the old one comes out. That's the one that needs to be repaired.
Yes. It's been sitting there since maybe November. Or whenever it went down, it was brought to Sullivan and nobody got back to him. So obviously when I took over,
Yeah.
not Andy, the sewer guy, wanted to know what to do with it, basically.
Yeah, they have an idea how old the pump is.
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Ask that.
I can find out tomorrow for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the pump. It's in the way. You know,
If there's a date on it.
Pretty different, isn't it?
it is a big difference. But if you're gonna spend $523, it's gonna tell me that it's not gonna work.
That's fair, right?
That's my, right?
I don't like
To
to.
me, it makes sense to buy a new pump at that.
$500 and I'll go see if I can win it lottery tonight.
Will these pumps be eliminated when we ever hook up sewer down there? Or are they just continually gonna have to be there?
That's a great question. There's a grant right now, right? Partial grant, but it's not enough. Yeah. So that's another goal.
Well, if these pumps are gonna stay there, we might as well buy the new one.
Yeah, we just weren't sure what to tell Sullivan to do with it, whether we look at repairing it and having a backup, but if we already have backups, why spend the money?
$523.
Keep it for parts. Exactly.
Yeah, I would say if he doesn't
That's what
have
we were
it,
saying. We were
doesn't
like,
have any idea whether it's gonna work or not, he probably shouldn't be working on pumps.
It depends if the other pumps. Is it the same model and all that? Cause there are parts on that that we can use.
I'm sure it's the same model.
Maybe just keep it
Keep
around
your
for
parts.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I think
If
if
I
we
buy the
get,
new one, keep that one
right,
around.
I think if we get in a situation where where one of them goes down, then we make that decision to purchase a new one.
I agree.
That's why we put the back.
Yeah, we agreed on that when we talked, but I said, well, let's see what the board thinks.
You're quizzing us.
Yeah, you guys passed. All right, I don't think I need to do a motion for that, do I? We're just not gonna. Nothing. Thanks. All right. Next up is contract approvals, and I like to just reiterate, these were already the adopted 2026 budget. This is just for permission to sign the following agreements and contracts. So the first is the 2026 engagement agreement with Costello, Cooney and Fearon, our town attorney law firm. The next is the Village of Canastota fire contract. After that is the Village of Wampsville fire contract. Great Swamp Conservancy contract. And recreation contract. Right.
I make a motion. Authorize. I can just sign.
Tax.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Favor. Aye.
Yeah.
Opposed? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. A little backwards, yeah. I'm already on to the next item. All right, it does not appear that there's anyone here for public comment tonight. There are no names on the sign-up sheet. But I will offer it since this is the first time anyone. Okay. All right, next is approval of bills. We have a motion to approve the bills in the total amount presented.
I'll make that motion. A second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. As we were going through them, there was a charge on the attorney's fees of $5,995 associated to a FOIL request. That obviously was not anticipated in this year's budget. My question is this the final cost of that FOIL request, or can we anticipate more? And if so, we're going to need to transfer funds into the legal account to cover this.
Correct. So this is part one of 3 correspondences we've had that are probably about equal in size. So we're looking at 2 more bills.
$18,000.
Yeah, for a FOIL request.
Mhm. It's a lot of information.
So it's something that we're gonna have to take a look at. That's not covered under the general services for the contract that she's gonna sign. This is all above and beyond. Anyway,
Yeah, it definitely could be upwards of 15,000, if not 20. So
yes,
definitely a hit.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So yeah, and we obviously have to comply with the FOIL request, so unfortunately, it's going to be quite costly, but again, it's out of our control and we have to follow the law there. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. The next item on the agenda is executive session. Is there a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition of real property where publicity would substantially affect the value thereof and personnel matters related to the persons?
I'll make the motion to go to.
I'll
executive
second
session.
it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Hi, Michael.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Still 10 of 2.
Yeah.
I was so fast.
So. Right, record time.
Paul, do you have any